Who's not coming down the track? Who's not coming down the track? And the nigga she is red and white. Ain't nothing finer in the rain. Ain't nothing finer in the rain. You drink that marching straight to bed.
What's up, y'all? This is John and Caleb back for another episode of the Nothing Finer podcast. As always, you can find us on Fans First Sports Network and as a part of Millions. Tonight, we are going through your hot takes and bold predictions for the 2025 season. Listener sourced on Instagram through both of our pages. So, Dog Sports Memes, nothing.finer.pod. If you're not following us, go ahead and do that because you could have gotten your hot takes and bold predictions in this episode. So how we're going to get into it is I haven't seen these. I haven't looked at these. Caleb got all of these together. So he's going to read them. I'm going to rate them on whatever I feel like. Might be how realistic it is. Might be how I like
How
it.
spicy.
Yeah. Yeah. But before we get into all that, man, how you been? What are you drinking?
I have been good. We are getting at work into the point where this is just 100 miles an hour for the next couple of weeks. So I am very tired, but I have been pretty good all around. I like being busy, so I don't mind it. What I am drinking, the last couple of weeks I have been drinking one of those probiotic sodas. I had a cream soda a couple of times, which has been very good. This time though, I went with a root beer, so I'm almost drinking.
um, yeah, man, just getting busy, going to see my friend. His son's third birthday party is this weekend.
Mm,
So we going up to Charlotte for that. Just, this week is actually slower than I have had for a while, which is nice.
mm. That's good. You've been
Um,
working hard, so I know you needed a slow week.
yeah, this is the first like slow week that I've really had since like before Memorial Day.
Mm.
So even though like I've driven a lot for work, I think I've probably put 500 miles on my work truck this week, but it hadn't been that bad. We've been doing a lot of work inside, which is nice because it got up to 112 this week, just kind of miserable. Um, I am drinking some Basil Hayden toasted
Okay.
today. Um, I tried it out a couple of years ago. It was probably like 21, 22 when I bought it. Um, wasn't the biggest fan at that point. Like I love Elijah Craig toasted. It's one of my favorite bottles of whiskey out there. To me, it tastes like a nice charred marshmallow. It's one of my favorite, easily available bottles of whiskey on the market.
Mm.
Basil Hayden Toasted, on the other hand, is not the same story. If you're watching on YouTube, you watched me take a drink a minute ago, make a face.
Oh
Wasn't a
no.
good face. I thought let it sit on the shelf for a couple years, get a little dust on the bottle, if you will. David Lee Murphy didn't help. Unlike homemade wine,
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
but I
You
did
know.
pour myself a little much. So I will be just making faces through the episode.
Yeah, well, there might be a point where you drink enough of it that your brain
Oh,
doesn't work right and you actually enjoy it.
okay, hold. Second taste not bad.
Okay,
Still,
yeah, that we're getting there.
still, still a little metallic tasting on the end, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
But the middle was sweet, which I've never gotten out of this bottle. So maybe just needed a minute in the
Mm,
glass. Well,
all right.
we'll intermittently come back with it. Also, I'm wearing sleeves. to record a podcast, which feels weird, but we just got back from dinner like 5 minutes ago.
Gotcha. I was gonna say I don't see your shoulders, and I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, we are not like public school. Even if you're turned on by shoulders, keep it in your pants. You know what I mean? Just feels weird. I feel restricted. Not
Right.
even like I moved that much. All right. So let's get into these listener hot takes and bold predictions.
All right. Again, these were all submitted through Instagram, so if we ever do something like this again, we will probably post it on nothing.finer.pod and Dog Sports Meme, so make sure you're following both of those to get your takes in. A couple of these we've had people have very similar takes, so I tried to group those together as well, and I'll try to name all of you, but if I forgot any of it, I am sorry. So I'm
I'm
going to
not.
start with, okay, fair enough. You don't need to be. So, first is some of these are going to be kind of similar here at the top, but I wanted to put them together. So, at Chad Jones 50 says Georgia has a Heisman winner. Doesn't name somebody, but we get a Heisman winner.
Not even a finalist, a winner.
Yeah, straight up winner.
Uh, that is definitely spicy for
Very,
sure.
very spicy,
I,
considering it's been 43 years since we've had one, and nobody seems to look like one on this roster right now.
and to be fair, there are a number of guys that are capable of it on this roster.
Yeah, yeah, that's not a knock. There's not a Superman on this roster, in my opinion.
But like, man, as far as the Georgia offense goes, if Brock Bowers only got into the top 10, like
It's
are
hard.
are we talking Zachariah Branch multiple return touchdowns plus like a, let's call it a 12 to 1300 yard season with like 15 touchdowns? Is that what we're talking about to get a Heisman winner?
Yeah, yeah, it might be because I'm thinking about the Heisman lately, and I'm talking like last few years because there was a stretch there it was just kind of the best player on the best team. But lately, it's sort of been kind of the only productive player on a less than stellar team that exceeded expectations. When you think about like Travis Hunter and Jaden Daniels and those guys.
Well, so I mean, when you go back to Travis Hunter and Jaden Daniels, those two guys are doing something that we hadn't seen since the best player at that position had done it.
Right, right. I'm just saying it's a guy like that who had to do it because of the quality of the team around them.
Right.
And the quality
Now,
of Georgia's team is so high that you're not going to have a head and shoulders guy over everybody else on this team.
now let's make a wild case for Gunnar Stockton real quick.
Oh, but before we make that case, I do want to point out the next take is, and let me get everybody on here,
Okay.
at real Eli Waddle, at Miller.Holton8, and at Billy Mobley 1 have Gunner as a Heisman finalist, and at Eman Blueface, at Noah D. Dye, and at M Kent 316 think he wins it. So
All right. So
lots of love for Gunner.
here's my case for Gunnar Stockton to win the Heisman. First and foremost, there's going to have to be no elite, like truly elite, obvious, this is the guy players this season. Like last year,
Yeah.
I really don't think that anything Gunnar Stockton could have done last year within the offense that Georgia runs would have even gotten him to New York with the best two-way player of the last 25 years. Um, a running back that was being talked about in the same breath as Barry Sanders,
Yeah.
legitimately, and the most nonchalant quarterback that passed for almost 6,000 yards that we've ever seen in the history of college football. Like
Yeah.
Gunner couldn't have done anything in 2024 to get to New York with that group. But 2025,
It's not going to be that group, is it?
it's not going to be that group. All those guys are in the NFL. But two, I truly believe the best returning quarterback in college football is Cade Klubnik.
Yeah. And that shows you how low the bar is.
And look, Mike and I are a lot higher on Cade than you are, but still, we're not talking a Cam Ward or
Mhm.
even a Caleb Williams from a couple years ago. We're talking a Clemson quarterback who was in the middle of a quarterback battle before last season.
Hmm.
So for Gunner to get there, one, name alone, I think Arch is going to have to get hurt at some point during the season and not play all 12 games.
Yeah, because if there's not a standout player this season, Arch Manning is winning the Heisman Trophy.
Correct. But I think we're going to have to get at least 4,500 yards out of Gunner's arm. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 600 on the ground.
Yeah. Now, what's going to help him with that is that we have some receivers who can catch the ball allegedly this year.
I'm glad you added allegedly because if you didn't, I was going to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how many touchdowns with let's say 5,100 total yards?
Hmm. Yeah, and that's
And
the
I say
thing because
5,100 just because I think the national media greatly disrespects Georgia's offense.
yeah, it's going to have to be high. And I was going to say it'll be hard to get the touchdowns because if a pass gets us inside the 5, Nate Frazier is going to get credit for the touchdown that happens.
Unless he only gets it down to the one, go push push quarterback sneak.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it happen.
I mean, look at Justin Hurts and Saquon Barkley last year.
Hmm.
Talk about touchdowns inside the 5. Jalen had significantly more. So
Yep. So, but staying on the Gunner hype train. At I don't know if it's supposed to be Stillery 22 or S Tillery 22. So whichever one it is. Uh, more Gunner love. Georgia leads the SEC in offense, and Gunner is top 3 in passing yards and touchdowns. He didn't specify. I'm assuming in the nation is what he means by that.
I can see it.
Yeah.
So I'll say this is the most mild on the spicy scale so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like there's still a couple of jalapenos in this one because we're still
Yeah. Like
talking
it's
about an SEC with a healthy DJ Lagway, Trey
mhm.
Wilson, and Jake Slaughter. We're talking about Austin Simmons and Caden Lee over in Oxford.
Yeah. I was gonna say even top 3 in the SEC is not as spicy, but it's impressive if that does
Yeah.
happen.
And at the end of the day, even if, and this is actually a take that I'm hearing a lot more national people talk about, even if Lenore Sellers doesn't have much help on the offense, he's still going to get a lot of yards by himself.
Yeah.
Like, we watched that man single handedly win against 11 Clemson players last year.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: Lenora Sellers is my dark horse Heisman.
I like that because you want to talk about being an elite offensive player doing more with no help.
Yeah,
That's
which is
Lenore's
again what it's
issue.
been lately. So
Yeah.
yes.
And let him have one of those moments where he breaks like 4 tackles on the way to the end zone, beating Alabama in Columbia. I, that's it right there.
Yeah,
Go ahead and write the check.
absolutely. All right. At Aaron.savage39. Very simple one here. Tyler Atkinson flips to Georgia.
Is all right. So if we're talking post 2025 season, we're talking within the next calendar year. I don't dislike that at all
Yeah, the
because
the relationship is there.
the relationship is there, but what's not there is the playing time as a freshman at Texas.
Yeah.
Because if there's any team in the country that has a linebacker room that can get close to Georgia's, it is Texas.
And if there's any linebacker room that next year is probably going to need an influx of young talent because you're losing 2 5 stars that were starting, it's Georgia.
Right. Like CJ Allen's gone next year.
Braylon Wilson probably gone too.
Yeah. So I think there's actually within the next 2 years, there's a better path to playing time at Georgia than at Texas. But both schools have shown the willingness to start freshmen over upperclassmen when the freshman deserves it. I mean, C.J. Allen his freshman year, and then Chris Cole last year, and then I mean Texas had two freshman linebackers start, one inside, one outside last year. So I now all trash talk aside, I don't hate the move for the guy. I think he would do
Yeah.
better off at Georgia because you don't put a linebacker, as many linebackers in the first round as you do at Georgia, and then say Texas is a better fit. Like, my guy, do you want to go to the NFL in the first round, or do you want to go in like the fourth?
Right.
But
At the
you know,
same time, in this era, you can always go to Georgia later and get developed.
correct. And if at 18 years old you offer me $1.5 million to go sit somewhere else for a year, yeah, dude, where do you want me to sit? That
Right.
cinder block in the corner? Heard. Like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. That's just the way it is now. And if you're one of these guys who's like messaging him or reaching out to him,
If you are,
telling
turn
him he's
podcast off right
yeah,
now. We don't want you to
exactly,
listen.
exactly. All right. At land. Okay, so I'm gonna put two together here because they're related. At Landon.Lane _11. Landon.Lane _11. Let me make sure I say that right. Says Georgia beats Texas and Alabama, but they still go 10-2 because they lose to Florida and Auburn. And then at Trey515 says Georgia has 3 losses. They think we're going 7-5. Yo.
They do. They do. So I'll be honest, this is a conversation that I had yesterday. Um, and a big part of it is because all of my disc golf friends know that I do this. So
Right.
they all talk college football. But last night, somebody asked if I thought Georgia would go undefeated. And I said they have a better chance of going undefeated because all the hard games are at home. And they said, I don't think 11-1 or 10-2 with a loss to Florida is out of the question. And it hurt.
But it's true.
Yeah, but I don't think they're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't.
I
Now,
I will genuinely say, like, other than Alabama, which is always going to be the most losable game on the schedule, I think
mhm,
Florida is the most losable game on the schedule.
yes. Now, another one, I'm not necessarily, I'm not high on Auburn this year. Really not.
Me either.
Like, I'm shocked if they make a bowl game. I would be shocked if, and I may have said this on the Vandy episode we did, I'd be shocked if Diego Pavia doesn't end Hugh Freeze's career.
Yeah,
But
that would be very funny.
it would be. And the timing works out because it's an early November game. Just everything lines up for that to be, Diego's fourth nail in Hugh Freeze's coffin. But I think it's a lot more likely that Georgia loses to Tech in the bins than it is that they lose to Auburn.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that.
And so this is something that, we've talked about for a while on the show is like, how many times can you win the Super Bowl? How many times can your team win the Super Bowl every year? And there are some teams that have won Super Bowl every year, right? Like
Hmm.
this year, Georgia Tech has won Super Bowl, and it's
Yeah,
on Black Friday because every single person on that team hates the color red. They're mad as hell about what happened last year. Like, their one sole focus is beating Georgia. To
yeah,
quote Zahi Hawass from the Joe Rogan podcast a couple weeks ago, it is the national project. That sole focus. That's the only intent of the Georgia Tech football program in 2025 is to beat Georgia.
yeah. Meanwhile, Georgia's Tech is probably the 4th or 5th most circled game on Georgia's schedule this year.
With the developments at quarterback with Tennessee and Auburn, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So 10-2, I don't think it's spicy. The Auburn
The loss to
part,
Auburn, it's very
that's
spicy.
like
And,
that's a newly discovered pepper from the Amazon that breaks the Scoville scale.
yeah, I will say that the 3 losses prediction, I don't hate if we include the postseason. I think there's a pretty good chance Georgia loses a game in the playoff and finishes with 3 losses like they did this year. But
Yeah, that
I
I
don't
don't hate
think it.
that.
I don't think. I think 3 regular season losses is a stretch. So bet that team total or win total over, guys. Uh, Moving on to some more Auburn love. Hale.Hagen_2006 says that Georgia goes undefeated and wins the SEC by beating Auburn twice.
Boy, I thought that last one was spicy.
I know. Auburn being the second finishing team in the SEC is pretty spicy.
And that truly is, I guess in the modern era of college football, it's really not that crazy. And I say that because we were one touchdown, or was it? We were either one touchdown or 10 points from playing Texas A&M in the SEC
That's true.
championship game.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Like,
It was very close.
right. So,
But
and
I don't
all
know that Auburn has as favorable a schedule as Texas A&M had last year either.
right, and I don't either, but I can tell you that, man, like Auburn, for what it, man, if they get some night games second half of the season at
At home.
home, crazier things have happened.
Yeah. I will tell
at Jordan
you.
Hare, crazier things have happened in their stadium than them beating teams they shouldn't.
I will say they get that Iron Bowl and Georgia at home this year.
But not back to
Iron
back.
Bowl
Thanks,
is
guys.
possible. No, definitely not back to back.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, they do start their SEC schedule at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M. They do have to play at Arkansas and at Vanderbilt as well. So take that for what it's worth in terms of their SEC prowess or their hopes of winning a spot in the SEC championship game.
I don't think them beating Oklahoma is out of the question. Oklahoma is one of my teams that I think are going to do better. But the issue is Oklahoma is playing Michigan and Auburn back to back. That's going to be tough.
Letdown spot. Okay, yeah, that's going to be tough.
That's going to be tough. Both are going to be extremely physical defenses with giant question marks on offense.
Yeah.
It's like that. I don't think that's out of the question. But Auburn winning enough to play a game in Atlanta, that's not like a first week of December bowl game. I think that is out of the question.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I'm looking now to see. I did have Oklahoma in my everybody goes 7-5 except Georgia version of my predictions. I had Oklahoma winning that game. So if you want to see what the SEC would look like if everybody except Georgia went 7-5, then go follow Dog Sports Memes and find that post. I'm gonna shamelessly
But do that
plug
anyways.
that. Yeah, do it either way. But I'm really proud of that one because that took me way too much effort to figure out. All right. And I'm gonna make sure I spell this out. It's at letter J, but J spelled Jay. Just to clarify, it's not just letter J. Nate Frazier will be the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and then sort of adjacent to that, at Tristan Robertson 24 said that Nate Frazier would win the Doak Walker Award.
So I believe Nate Frazier has the talent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has the opportunity. And I say that because you still got Roderick Robinson, coming off pretty much an entire season off, right?
Yeah.
You still have McCray in the backfield, who was a really good running back at Illinois last year. Like the Illinois team is very upset that he is gone. I think McCray leaving actually kind of changes the complexion of the Illinois team.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate Frazier and Peanut and the true freshman that ran all over the spring game. Like Georgia is finally getting back to having a stable of running backs that you're confident in every single guy top to bottom.
Yeah. I love I'm about to say something that's going to sound a little crazy probably, but I love the fact that I can say it now because we're back to this. I think maybe not to the same degree, but I think that in a few years, once Nate Frazier gets to the NFL, we'll talk about him the way we talked about Nick Chubb once he got to the NFL. Just in that, like, we all knew as Georgia fans how good Nick Chubb was
Hmm.
because we watched it every time he hit the field. But the sort of ESPN experts and stuff, once he got to the NFL, were sort of surprised because he was behind Gurley and sharing the field with Gurley and sharing the field with Michelle. So if you're just looking at
Michelle,
stats
who
all
went one
day,
spot higher than him.
yeah. And so if you're just looking at stats, you think, okay, he's a decent second round running back or whatever. But then he got to the NFL and started dominating the NFL, and like, well, where is this guy coming from? I think there's a very good chance Nate Frazier gets treated the same way. People know he's good. We will know exactly how good he is. The media won't, just because there's such a rotating stable of guys in there that are also very good with him.
Now, if we want to talk about high expectations and bold predictions for Nate Frazier, for him to have over 1,000 all-purpose yards,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't. That might even be like poblano spicy. If you want to say he's got over 1,000 rushing yards, be the first guy since 2019 DeAndre Swift to do that, that'd be a little spicy. But
Yeah.
I think it's very realistic. You have a much mo- you have a lot more threats on the offensive side of the ball this year, which is going to create more openings for everybody.
Right.
So I think Nate Frazier is going to pop off this year. But
I,
Doak Walker's saying something.
yeah. He would have to be popping off by himself, and he's not gonna pop off by himself because there's just too many studs in that room.
Yeah, it's not skill, it's opportunity.
Hmm. All right, so a couple of guys at Layfield 678 and at Caleb_Cochran 7 have a pretty simple one: undefeated regular seasons and Georgia being back-to-back SEC champions.
I love it.
Yeah,
I do think it's a little spicy just because not slipping up somewhere is extremely difficult.
yeah,
And I mean, so Georgia, I feel like a lot of us forgot what it's like for there to be parity in the conference
hmm,
because of 2021 undefeated regular season, 2022 undefeated regular season, 2023 undefeated regular season. There's a reason that no team had ever done that before.
hmm,
And then, last year obviously I have a couple of letdowns. And to be fair, the schedule is easier this year because the more difficult games are at home. But the teams that you're not playing at home got better. So I think it is extremely possible. I'm not sure it's probable.
yeah. If you remember that 2022 season where we went 15-0, uh, we had some letdown games. They just happened to be in the right places. We were
Mm-hmm.
playing Kent State, and then Missouri was very close. We were one red zone tackle away from losing the undefeated season to unranked Missouri.
One
Uh,
Malachi Starks run the guy down from behind at the 2 yard line
yeah.
tackle.
So, uh, again, the to do the undefeated season, especially in this era, is going to take a little luck being in the right place, the ball bouncing your way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a Georgia's got it's another case of Georgia's got the talent to do it, but sometimes stuff just happens.
And I just want to remind everybody, 2 times in the playoff era has a team gone undefeated and win the national title.
One of those
2018.
times was I guess 3 times. Continue.
Okay, so we had 2018 Clemson,
Yeah.
who one of the most talented teams that Clemson has ever had in the history of their program that ran through everybody up to and including the Alabama team that beat Georgia.
Yeah.
2022 Georgia, one of
2019 LSU as well, but
okay, yeah. So three teams. And two
and
of those, I think you could very easily argue are top 5 teams ever assembled in the sport.
yeah, and the
So,
third one probably top 10 to be honest with you.
right, like
When you
in
look
this,
back at the NFL resume.
yeah, in this day and age, it's not impossible.
But you don't have those raw. Oh, also 2023 Michigan, but big asterisk next to that one.
Yup. Yeah. I forget that they even
That's the worst of the four choices in terms of team composition.
correct. Yeah, but I mean, even in those games, Clemson had a close game in 2018 too. It was either Notre Dame or like Pitt or somebody that they shouldn't have had a close game to.
Yeah,
Georgia in 2022 had a couple of close games, including obviously the Peach Bowl to Ohio State. 2023 Michigan had a close game against Alabama, who couldn't snap the ball to the
yeah,
quarterback. And then 2019 LSU week 2 went into the fourth quarter against a Texas team that didn't make a bowl or didn't make.
I think you're
Were
right.
they?
They didn't make a bowl.
Yeah, I think they didn't make a bowl or they were unranked at the end of that season. They definitely were not good.
Yeah, let me fact check it real quick. Texas 2018 football.
19.
Well, you're talking about okay, that season you're saying they missed the ball. I thought we were talking about the season before.
No.
Okay, in 2019, I mean they did go 8-5.
Okay.
Losses to Oklahoma, TCU, Iowa State, Baylor, and LSU.
Yeah. 8-5 took LSU to the
Unranked.
fourth quarter.
Yeah,
So not only is it very difficult, but to get through it completely unscathed is just unheard of.
yeah, for sure. You're gonna have some tough stuff. You just gotta have it at the right times. All right. Well, it don't. On the same note, at Rozier198M, at Quentin_M_Carter, and at Nick T2377 have upped the ante on that, having the Dogs go 16-0, national championship, confetti falling in Miami, right in front of Carson Beck's stupid face.
If you take the 16-0 out of it, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
and all right, so this is probably gonna sound bad to a lot of people. I'm not gonna believe 16-0 is possible until somebody does it.
Yeah.
Because 15-0 happened 3 times.
4, but 1 with an asterisk.
Forget about I just pushed that whole Michigan thing out of my head.
Yeah, we all did. It's okay.
Yeah, all right. So it 15-0 happened 3 times, 4 if you count cheating, and where you had the other team signs. So, but and all of Mike's family who listens to the podcast is gonna be so mad right now. They
For
they get
sure.
mad and comment every time I say something negative about Michigan.
Well, maybe y'all shouldn't have cheated and we wouldn't say anything negative about it.
I, you know, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But if you get caught, you ain't trying hard enough.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, all right. So even counting Michigan, it's happened 4 times. I just, man,
Yeah.
it's so difficult. College football is just getting more and more parity by the year. Um, and
I think Ohio State went what, 15-2 last year? I think that's going to be the norm.
yeah, 1 or 2 losses, I think, is what we should expect from every national champion until somebody gets the 16-0.
Yeah, and one-loss teams like will have a legitimate argument for being among the best of all time if we're being serious.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in
All
a day
right.
and age of more injuries.
For sure. All right, so we've got that's all of the Georgia ones that were submitted, but we did get a few other college football ones. The next 3 are all Florida related, which is interesting. People really wanted to talk about Florida this year. Very simple one first, 3 words from at Bulldog Barbecue, and that is Bulldog the way with the DAWG.
Hell yeah.
Florida flops hard. Not saying I can't see it.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're one injury from being 6-6,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. And it's not just DJ Lagway. Like it's DJ Lagway or their only returning running back, or Trey Wilson is not good. Like he's not healthy this season. I hope he is because a hip injury at his age just sounds awful,
Hmm.
especially at his position. But their center, I think Florida's center could go down, and because they are on the razor's edge of despair, one injury to especially if it's a leader of that team, there's two ways they can go, and I don't think it's the good one with one
Yeah.
injury.
Yeah, I'm with you. But that to me that it would take that for them to like actually flop. I think we run into another season where they do just enough to keep Billy Napier around. Now, if they flop with DJ Lagway and everybody else healthy,
Yeah.
then we're talking about some hot seat situations.
Well, that's if they have the administration in place to actually fire him,
That's
because
true.
he wouldn't have had a job at the end of last season if they had the person to write the paperwork to fire him.
Right. That's true. Admin once again keeps somebody employed. All right. So a couple more positive ones. At J Thurman 852 says DJ Lagway goes on a revenge tour and Florida becomes a serious threat in the conference.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Like all right, I'm not gonna get into this because actually gonna have this as one of my takes at the end. So,
Okay. We'll leave it there.
but I think it's
Um,
entirely realistic.
yes. I completely agree. At Eman_Cobb 7 has a take here that I think the listeners already know the two of us both agree with. Florida upsets Texas.
Will it be an upset?
That's the real question.
In the swamp, will it be an upset? And I think the line right now is a touchdown or more. But hold
By the
on.
time we get there, let me look, because by then, I think Florida's their SEC opener for Texas. So on the Texas side, it really depends on if they beat Ohio State or not, in my opinion. Um,
All right. Let's see.
Florida
Okay, that was
already
last year's.
plays at LSU and at Miami before they play Texas.
All right, it's
So
currently a 17.5 point line, and to me, that's absolutely
that's
insane.
absurd. That's completely absurd. If I could do that right now, I would do Florida plus the points in a heartbeat.
Right?
Maybe even money line sprinkle. Because yeah, so again, Texas's only real test before then is at Ohio State. Florida gets at LSU and at Miami, and then a bye week before Texas. So those games, if Florida wins both those games and Texas loses to Ohio State, it would not shock me at all if Florida's favored going into that weekend.
All right, maybe I didn't see the correct line, but I
Okay.
saw earlier on Instagram, on like the Explore page, somebody had this line posted, and I do my best to actually not follow Texas pages, so I don't know who posted this. But if somebody had the way too early lines, and I don't think it was really that big.
Right. Let me. Yeah, the only thing I can really find is basketball lines.
Yeah.
So somebody might have had that somewhere. If you see it at Texas minus 17.5, please take the points with Florida. Please. I'm begging you.
6.5. Okay, I finally got it.
That's more reasonable, but I'm still taking the points.
Yeah, like man, that's so tough.
Yeah.
That's I would probably bet Florida on that right now.
Yeah. I would not have to think about it. All right. One out of left field here. My good friend at CFB Supreme. Chandler Rivers from Duke is the best cornerback in college football.
Corner,
Corner, yeah.
is that one of Philip Rivers' gang?
I don't know.
I
It
know he's
very
got
well
like
could.
20 kids.
Yeah, it's probably one of them. Is it a Nick Cannon situation where we don't fully know? I will tell you, I just looked up a picture. He does not look anything like Philip Rivers in the most
Okay.
obvious way possible. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
say no.
we're on the same page. Yeah. We're on the same
Yeah.
page. Manny Diaz as the head coach would not surprise me if Duke has a lockdown defense this year. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how much you've been in college football 26. Duke is doing really well in sim in that game, weirdly, like making the playoff consistently.
Well, so Duke underrated this year.
Yeah.
Honestly, they might should have been one of our puncher's chance teams
Yeah.
because they have a former Texas quarterback, a guy that started games over Arch Manning when he was
Hmm.
at Texas.
Let's remember that.
Manny Diaz is the head coach who, yeah, he got fired a couple of times. He also got put in terrible situations. Duke is just like, hey, here's your budget. I don't know, win some games or something. And he's winning games and something. Like
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think that's really high on Duke. And considering we still haven't heard back from Cincinnati, maybe we can find somebody from Duke and swap them out.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It'd be cool to talk Duke. I'm gonna keep a close eye on them this year for sure.
Yeah.
And then this last one, not really bold in my opinion, but I'm gonna give it anyway. At Caden.Foley.77 says Vanderbilt goes 8-4 this year.
They do have a tougher schedule this year, I'll say.
Yeah.
Their big games are all outside of Nashville. Now, how much of a home crowd is Nashville most of the time?
Right.
But it's still going to be a tougher schedule. I think that's medium. I think it's a medium one.
That's fair.
Like seven. I think 7-5, 8-4 is about right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 7-5 if it's chalk, 8-4 if they beat somebody they shouldn't again, like they did last year.
Right. All right. So you've got a couple. Mike's got a couple, and I've got a couple. So
Yeah. Mike's
we
got
can start
one,
getting into
and
ours. Okay.
yeah. So Mike's, I think, is personal for you guys. Elijah Griffin out of Savannah Christian will be an impact player on the defensive line this year.
Kirby did talk about him without being asked recently.
That you know what that means. We all know what that means.
Yep, it definitely means something.
Yeah.
Um, no, I'd be really excited about that. And so Elijah Griffin, if you don't live in Savannah, you probably don't know this, but I'm pretty sure that it's not even like NIL related. When he's been home this summer, he's been going to like small family owned businesses and restaurants in Savannah, and he's been taking pictures with them and doing like little pop up events. And I think a couple of times he's posted about this little family owned restaurant somewhere in the city, like doing a lot of big things for small businesses in Savannah, and I love that.
R- right. Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully he keeps that up. All right. So my first take, and I'm gonna explain why I've got it listed with bold predictions after I say it. Christian Miller will be Georgia's defensive MVP this year. And I know if you know the guy and you know his talent level, that's not necessarily a huge shock, but nobody is talking about this guy at all. It's all CJ Allen or Dalen Everett or
A lot of Jordan Hall
whoever.
too.
Yeah, a lot of Jordan Hall. I think Christian Miller is going to maybe quietly be the guy.
No, I agree with that. I'm really, and I know I've been the pessimist all year, all off season. I know. Is a good part of that probably because I watched us get our teeth kicked in New Orleans? Yeah, probably, if I'm being honest. But started rewatching Gunner's tape and the
Mm,
team that played around Gunner. And I'm getting excited.
yeah,
And uh, I probably have the same opinion about Jordan Hall as you do on Christian Miller, but
fair.
Like, I think those two are going to be two of the more pivotal pieces
Yeah.
of the defense.
Yeah. Which the debate that we can have this year about who's going to be the best on this defense like, just shows you how stacked it is.
And it's gone back to the way Kirby likes to play defense, which is there's no there's nobody on this defense that a Mizzou fan is gonna know.
Right.
There's not a single person. Maybe C.J. Allen because he's gotten so much hype in media days and all that kind of stuff, or maybe Dalen Everett because of the plays he made against Texas.
I was gonna say if you're playing Texas this year, you've watched tape, you might know who Dalen Everett is, but
But there's nobody that you're like, oh yeah, dude, the best safety in the SEC this year is KJ Bolden. Like Mizzou fans aren't saying that,
right.
and that's the way that Kirby likes it. That's the way it usually was until Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and
And
those
Malachi
guys.
Starks and those folks.
Right, but when you have 17 generational players on the same exact defense, like you have that. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, 2017 defense is probably what we're looking at with this one more than anything else, but I'll take that.
right, yeah, 2017 is not a bad year to try and be that defense.
Right.
Or
All right. So
2019, I'll take that.
yeah, as long as we don't have the offense with it.
Yeah.
Uh, so do you want to give one of yours or should I just run through mine?
Go ahead and keep going with yours.
Okay. All right. So this one, it's a little tamer version of some of the ones that we saw that were a little spicier. Defenses this year will be so scared of Gunnar Stockton's running ability after being used to watching Carson Beck on our tape that our pass offense will be top five in the nation.
Yeah, I. Is this partially based on a conversation that we were having the other day when I
I
was
think
watching the
so.
Gunner
Yeah.
tape?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's entirely realistic, and the big thing is there's a giant step up in receiver talent this year.
Oh yeah.
So,
Noah Thomas is gonna cook. Colby Young is back with us. Like the ball, we saw some of the tape from G Day. Gunner is very happy to just sling it to those guys and let them get it.
and if you want to even talk about young guys, C.J. Wiley, go watch the state championship game that he played in. I understand it's high school, but it's also Georgia high school
Yeah.
in a 5A division where he played for the state championship. And he was legitimately putting guys on skates to the point where they were horizontal, sliding past him on the turf because he just stopped. Sprint to stop, and the other guys, his feet are on the bench because he slid that far out of bounds. Really, really excited to see what he can do.
Oh yeah. And that there's that one play that I love where he gets out of the pocket against Texas, runs. It's like a 3 yard run for a first down. Um, but
Yes,
then he runs over the Texas defender, talks a little trash, and runs back
yes,
to the line, and that just makes me so happy to see. Uh,
yes.
because Carson Beck was just so bored. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just talk trash about Carson Beck. He'll be fine at Miami. Go get your bag, whatever. But he clearly was not the leader that this team needed, and I think Gunnar Stockton very much could be.
Right.
All right, last one here, and again, I think I'm tempering my expectations with this one, but I think based on the way a lot of people are talking, a lot of people will see this as a bold one. When this season is said and done, I think this will be a top four Kirby Smart coach Georgia team, and by that I mean it won't be 2021, it won't be 2022, and it may or may not even be 2017, but it'll be a market improvement over 23 and 24 with more accomplishments. So I think at least a semifinal appearance for this team is not out of the question, and in fact, it pretty much my expectation for the year.
Yeah. I I would agree with that. And the way you put it is it will be one of the better coach teams of his career.
Yeah, yeah, I can say that.
Um, so I'm trying to finalize my last one, and I've got two different ways that I can go with it. Should I go the spicier way or the more realistic way?
I'll tell you, give us the spicy one, and then you can temper it back after I react to the spicy one.
Okay, all right. So my first one, which is not that one,
Okay.
Florida has a playoff argument at the end of the season with a 9-3, 10-2 finish, something like that.
I very easily see that happening. Especially because with their schedule, if they're going 9-3 or 10-2, they've got a signature win or two in there that they can point to and say we deserve to be here.
Yes. Second one, Georgia Tech plays for the ACC title.
Ooh, that is spicy, but I don't hate it. I
Wait,
really don't hate it.
right? Like, who does the ACC have this year? Louisville, who we're not fans of.
No.
We're anti birds with teeth.
Yeah. Florida State, I think they're still in there. Oh, we actually went undefeated in 2023 emo phase.
Right. Um, Duke, who we just talked about,
Maybe, but I don't know if I'm as
maybe,
high on them as I am Georgia Tech.
and Clemson. And even though you're not all that high on Clemson, who in the ACC is going to keep them out of playing for that game to start?
Clemson will be in that game.
Right.
You did omit a certain team that just paid
Virginia Tech,
$4 million for no, the a different orange team that just paid $4 million
Virginia.
for us starting. No, not further south. Further south.
Okay.
I think they're called the Red Hawks, or is that a different school with the same name?
ULM.
It's the Warhawks.
Oh. Oh.
I think
No.
we both know. For the people listening, we both know who we're talking about, but
Yes. Yes.
the omission was intentional.
Honestly, I didn't intentionally
Oh,
leave them off to be a jerk. I don't think they're going to be that good.
yeah. I
We're talking
think
about Miami.
yeah. I think a solid Jimbo Fisher 8-4 is something.
And so to go just scratch the surface on why I'm not that high on Miami this year, the defense is not going to improve enough to make up for the drop off the offense is going to have. And
Yeah.
that's not just because Carson Beck's their quarterback now. They had Elijah Arroyo at tight end, who
Hmm.
was he was a poor man's Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Phenomenal player. Truly, Elijah Arroyo went way, way too undersold last year. But when you come off of Brock Bowers for 3 years, Tyler Warren for 1 year, like you're just kind of get lost in the mix there. And then Xavier Strepo, like you don't have the top two pass catchers that kind of kept that team going last year. The offensive line still not great,
Hmm.
and the defense is not going to be good enough to make up for the slack that the offense is going to have.
Right. And even if you're high on Carson Beck, even if you think he's a first round draft pick, you know he's not Cam Ward.
Yeah, yeah. I would venture to say that you know what I can't say that. That's too mean. That's too
Okay.
mean. I can't say that.
All right. Well,
It's probably accurate, but I've spent way too much time dumping on Carson Beck the last few weeks. I can't say it.
all right. We wish you the best in your future endeavors, Carson.
We just hope that you also continue to be Oprah with the football. Um, all right, and so my last take, and I'm pretty sure I've said this every year that we've done this episode, but Georgia breaks the curse, gets the first 1,000-yard receiver since Terrence Edwards.
Yeah. Now, I have to ask you, since you're saying that, are you willing to put a name on that?
So I will say it's one of two guys. I'll say it's either Noah Thomas or Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, that those would be my two as well if I had to pick two.
And you know, do I think Colby Young has the ball skills? Yes. I don't think he's fast enough. So there's going to have
Yeah,
to be a lot of yards after the catch.
I was gonna say he if he was gonna get 1,000 yards, we're throwing him a lot of red zone balls and scoring a lot of points.
Right. And then while I would love to talk about Dylan Bell here, I think that there's going to be so much of an emphasis in the box because of Gunner's running ability, Roderick being back, Nate Frazier, McCray, that as a true slot guy, which Dylan Bell's finally going to get to play the position that he is fit for the first time in his career at the University of Georgia. He's not playing running
Yeah.
back. He's not X receiver. He's going to be a slot guy. Love that for him.
Yeah, good for him. Hopefully the NFL catches on and sees how great he can be in that position.
But he's going to be facing eight man boxes so
Yeah.
often that he's going to get beat up in traffic. And I think he's got the ability to be there when we need him to be. But with guys like Zachariah Branch, that's allegedly an Arian Smith with hands, and Noah Thomas that has speed and also the size to get 50-50 balls. Like I think Dylan is going to be the third or fourth option when it comes to passing the ball, not because of skill level, but because the other two guys are so good at what they do.
Yeah. I will say if I guess it depends on how defenses choose to play Gunner because it's such a catch-22 because if you stack the box, we actually have the talent on the outside and he'll just
Mm-hmm.
blow you up on the outside. If they cover the outside though and just try to stop those guys, you've got your running lanes and you've got your slot options. And I guess you just kind of have to if you don't have the talent to man up with these guys one-on-one, which most teams don't,
Mm-hmm.
then you're gonna have to pick one.
And so I also think that no team is going to have true. I think no team is going to have true film on what works and does not work against this Georgia offense until after the Alabama game.
Yeah.
And I know Georgia's going to Knoxville 2 weeks before that. But here's the thing. First off, not high on Tennessee's defense this year. They had two or three guys that I would call good last year. James Pierce playing for the Falcons. Boo Carter in the slot. He's holding out of camp right now for more money.
Yep.
And then Jermod McCoy. And I'm not even 100% sold on him. So, and just based on time of possession, I think the Tennessee defense is going to struggle late in the games because the offense isn't going to be on the field very often. Joey Aguilar led the country in interceptions last season. You cannot convince me that Tennessee's wide receiver room in its current state is that much better than App State's last year. Tennessee's going to suck this year. It's not
Yeah.
a hot
Not
take. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, not to mention the average score of games when Kirby goes to Knoxville, it's
It's
like
like a 40
40,
possession
it's
victory.
like 42-10. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something absurd like that.
yeah. So I think it's going to take the Bama game for people to figure out what works and doesn't work against this offense. And that's a third of the way into the season before anybody
Yeah,
has a clue. And if
by
anything,
then we can scheme different stuff around it. Like,
right. And
because I can
if,
guarantee you Kirby Smart's thought of the defensive way to stop this offense before anybody else will, and he'll have already planned around it.
yes. And so if you go back and watch second half of the SEC championship game, you go back and watch the Sugar Bowl, the one thing that both of those teams, two of the best defenses in college football last year, what did they do that was identical? Zone defense where not a single defender had their back to Gunner Stockton at any point in time.
And why?
He got legs. He got
Yeah,
some
and
wheels.
he got legs, and you don't have receivers behind you that you're worried about catching
Yes.
the ball. That
Yes.
helps.
Yes.
Not going to be the case this year, but that is going to be what you have to do.
All right. And then my tempered expectation version of that is not that we have a single 1,000-yard receiver. I understand it's been done. It's been done once since 1896 or no, 1892 when Georgia first started playing football.
Yep,
Cool.
the old fighting Southerners. Yep.
Right. I get it. Two 750-yard receivers.
That seems doable to me.
Right. Like that. That seems like half a jalapeno spicy.
Yeah.
The other one, just because of the history behind it, we're talking at least habanero pushing towards ghost pepper.
Ooh, okay.
Just, I think it can be done, and I'm high on this team every year. Some people should say I should go to rehab. Um, but that's it for this episode. Those are y'all's hot takes and bold predictions. If we post clips, we're gonna do our best to tag all of y'all in there so you can get the love. Um, but if you want to see that, follow us on social media at nothing.finer.pod for my Instagram. Caleb's is dog sports memes. Our Twitter is at FinerPod. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Just look us up. You will find us there. Mike's been putting out a lot of content that you can only find on TikTok right now. Um, and keep an eye out, keep an ear out for our watch party announcement. I expect that is coming soon. We finally finalized some dates based on my travel schedule, 2 games, and I think I'm going to every home game this year. I'm not
Nice,
skipping
man.
one. Um, so shout out to Georgia's schedule this year for not having more than 2 home games in a row
Yeah. And shout out to Georgia's schedule this year for
for
having
being
really good home games this year.
right for being worth going to.
Yes.
But no, the bye weeks are placed perfectly. It's like 2 home games, away game, 1 home game, bye week, 2 home games, away game. It's perfect. It's awesome.
Yeah. Love it.
Um, but most importantly, I'll remember there's nothing finer in the land.
Than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan.